towards Shell, being chased hard by the Australian. And I'll tell you something else. Julian Ryders has joined us here in the commentary box. I'm going to get a smack off him if I make another comment like that.
He's on him now. He's on him now.
Yeah, right there now. I'll tell you what, be interesting to see how that Ducati grunts out of this chicane here. He's got good drive there.
Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbo. Bit slack out of there. Watch the Ducati. Moves into the slipstream. The R6. That R6 is quick there. Over hilltop, down towards Knickerbrook. Now that surprised me. I expected with the corner speed that the Ducati carried with Dean on it through Fulston chicane, he would be away and past Jim Moody down the straight. Jack Ballantyne and Steve Mellors, they have got one fast R6 Yamaha there. Well, let's have a bit of a recap down the leaderboard while I keep an eye on what's going on between these two. Moody and Thomas, you can see McCarthy still third, Whitby fourth. Gary Mason is in fifth place. Vermeulen hangs on there in sixth place at the moment, while Dean, and he was quick along this section, Cascades, and this section down towards Ireland. Dean Thomas in round 4 here at Alton Park was so very good there as he looked for the outside. Surely not, that's not real. He's saying, hello, Jim.
Oh, what a shot. Look at that.
Yeah.
Them boys are trying.
I think that's just a bit of a wind-up from Dean Thomas. There's an Aussie having a bit of a go at the Glaswegian, I feel. Blue flag's being waved.
Let's just hope back markers don't come into play here and they've got a clear track to battle it out properly.
They won't come into play and live with these two, will they? So 51 we've just gone past. In fact, probably 61, Mark Laws. We're looking at Knickerbrook. Well, at the end of this lap, just to state the obvious, we're on the last lap. We've got Clay Hill here, and you can see Moody's very good up and over Clay Hill. Dean Thomas just dropping back a bit. Maybe he's just loading his gun.
I think he's good. I don't know where he's going to get by Jim, if he's going to get by him anywhere, Keith, to be honest.
I think it's Cascades, Island and down towards Shell. There you
go. That's the prediction.
That's the prediction from me, but you know I always open my mouth prematurely.
It does give Jim an half lap to get back at him, though, so that might be a bit early.
Interesting situation here. So out of Deers leap for the penultimate time. Over the line. What's the distance? Not that it makes a lot of difference. It is 1.277, so 0.2 of a second, damn near 3. Jim Moody leads Dean Thomas by. This is where he'll be cocking his gun.
He has fired it out that corner, that's for sure.
Down the avenue. Next stop is Cascades. This is where Dean Thomas, look at that, nice wide line to line himself up for the drive.
He's lining him up.
He's lining himself up for great drive out of Cascades. Back marker, though, is going to come to him at... This is where Dean Thomas has been good here before.
No, Jim's got the inside line, blocked him there.
We've got a back marker that's coming into view right in the middle of Ireland. That's not going to be a problem for either of them. He could have a go in at Shell if he can run up the inside. Jim's got it covered, though.
Jim's just keeping tight lines everywhere now, which is a normal practice.
So what would you be doing here, Matt, right now, apart from wetting yourself?
Wetting myself, yeah. Just keep like what Jim's doing, keep tight lines into the corners and just make it really difficult for Dean to come round.
I would say Dean has got to line this chicane up perfectly to get the drive through it and have an extra couple of mile an hour on Jim along this part now. He didn't do it there, did he? He didn't carry that corner speed.
He made no gap at all there.
So he can't get in the slipstream of Jim Moody. Jim Moody keeping right over to his right of the track, just so it makes it bigger difference at Knickerbrook. And Dean couldn't get under him at Knickerbrook. Jim was he's a wily old fox. He'll ride down the white line going into Lodge, I'll bet. Over Clay Hill, back marker. He won't affect it, I don't think.
Not yet, I don't think.
Well, it might be Lodge.
It's going to be down to Lodge corner.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Last corner shenanigans then. Get yourselves ready, marshals. You might have to work for a living. Here comes Dean Thomas. He's going to go for the inside line. 38 could get in the way.
No, that's it.
The end of the news. Jim.
Dean's trying.
I tell you what, if Jim had gone a little wide there, then he would have lost it to Dean Thomas. Well, what a tactician. He didn't panic. Jim Moody takes the win here at Alton Park from the round 4 winner, and that was Dean Thomas. It's going to be Gary Mason that finishes in front of Chris Vermeulen, and that will round out places 5th and 6th. 36 Mason goes over. Good ride from him. Chris Vermeulen, well, bit of a struggle for him again today, but no struggle for Jim Moody.
Jim looks happy.
The race 7 winner then, 18 laps at an average of 101 miles an hour on a 600cc road-tired motorcycle. What a result for him. He saw off Dean Thomas. Thomas did all he could, but Jim Moody the Scot comes out on top. Jim's 3rd ride on a Yamaha and his 2nd win then. Alton Park, successful for the V&M Yamaha boys. Dean Thomas done all he could, but not quite. 2nd place for him. Kurt McCarthy 3rd, Howard Whitby 4th, Gary Mason a good 5th, Chris Vermeulen 6th, Wolsey Coulter a fine 7th, and Dave Johnson on the Reve Red Bull Ducati in 8th place. Tim Paul, the likeable Tim Paul, on the Yamaha in 9th place. Andy Tinsley 10th, Steve Brogan 11th, Stuart Wickens in 12th place. Scott Smart comes home injured, but he is in 13th place. Luke Quigley, Adrian Kershaw and Gus Scott round out the top 16.
Well, Kurt McCarthy, congratulations for third, but it must be fairly frustrating when you see those guys just clear off in front of you.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't do much about it. I was trying as hard as I could, but they were just like getting a little bit and a little bit each lap, and I thought, well, I'll just have to try and hold off for third, and I was fortunate enough to finish there.
You were kept under pressure for third, though, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit there for a while. I didn't even look behind who it was. I just thought I had a gap for about 1.2 seconds, and then it went to 0.2, and I thought, oh no, this is not good. And then it went out to 1.9. I thought, oh, that's all right. So I didn't know what actually happened, but I was happy with that. And then I could see Dean catching Jim, and I thought, oh, maybe we'll get him by the end, but apparently it didn't happen.
Well, Dean, you're happy with that, by the smile on your face. You managed to close the gap on him, but couldn't quite pull it out right on the last lap.
No, I couldn't. I thought I lined him up and I knew he was a little bit steady into that last corner, and I thought, right, I'll dive up the inside of him. But obviously Jim's been around a while, he knows what it's all about, and there was a lap rider there and he just made sure he squeezed over enough so I couldn't fit through, and I had nowhere to go. I mean, he rode a great race, he rode flat out from start to finish, and you know, I did my best to keep up with him in the beginning and I couldn't, and as the tyres sort of wore off towards the end, yeah, I could maintain a little bit better pace and I caught him back. But I mean, yeah, I'd like to win, but I've got to be happy with a second like that. That's a good race.
Jim Moody, you got the whole shot, you cleared off, you had a brilliant start, you closed the gap on you, put you under pressure right at the end.
Yeah, I did try real hard at the beginning and I thought I was breaking away. Everything looked real comfortable, and then I just seen my gap coming down. And I tried hard to combat it, and just nothing I could do. It was keep coming down. The bike was starting to slide a little bit, so I just decided let Dean catch me and just block him to the end. And that's what I've done. Last two laps I wasn't interested in my lap thing, I was just bothered about staying down the inside of the track and keeping him from getting past.
Well, the Pirellis looked to have the edge on the Dunlops out there on the tyres. You do confuse us when you don't do the warm-up lap from the front of the grid. Do you think that helps?
No, it's because the main thing is we haven't got any warm-up, and you're able to do three. Well, we done 4 laps there in the sighting laps, so it's just 4 laps too many for my race tyres. So I think these are the only two. Oulton Park and Silverstone are the only two that happens like this. One warm-up lap and one sighting lap's okay, but when it's four sighting laps and a warm-up lap, it's just too much in the race tyres.
Were your tyres going off a little bit there at the end?
They still looked perfect, but I think they must have been overheating a little bit because I just could not go any faster, and Dean was catching me, you know.
Fast enough to win the race though, and increase his championship lead to 12 points over Kurt McCarthy. But remarkably, Yamaha still have not weighed in to Moody's quest to win the British Supersport Series this year. Dean Thomas is in 3rd place, Glenn Richards 4th. Howard Whitby 5th, Christopher Mullen is in 6th place, that's Richard's teammate. Scott Smart is Thomas's teammate and in 7th place, and Rob Frost rounds out the top 8. Winners are grinners. Jim Moody has the biggest grin of them all. To his left is his ex-teammate from Castrol Honda, Kurt McCarthy. It's not often you see him struggle to open a bottle. To his right, of course, is Dean Thomas, the pole man. He too is struggling with ammunition at this point. Now then, how'd you get the better of Jim? Well, you put something valuable in one hand, a drink in the other, and then he's really got a problem. What do I let go of first, he says. Certainly not the money, and certainly not the drink. Nothing like a champagne bath to make Jim grin more. What a face. While Jim puts his feet up, next up it is Superbikes Part 2, Oulton Park.